Hi everybody, Westleg here. I just want to take a few minutes to share a good read, a good book that I've run across. While I've not completed with it, there's some really neat, exciting things that I've run into already that I just got to get out and share with my friends. I think it's pretty interesting. The book's called The Power of Awareness. It was written by a gentleman by the name of Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard was he was born in 1905 or 1907, the early 1900s. He passed away in 1972 from a small island in Barbados. This gentleman became a dancer in Great Britain and later moved on to the United States and became a pretty significant author. He wrote several books and quite an orator as well. He did a lot of research into Christianity, and he has shared some neat ideas. Hi Josh, hi Ed, hi Shelley, hey partner. He shared some neat ideas and some insights into Christianity, which, wow, really opened my eyes up to some things that I never even considered or thought about. In the book of The Power of Awareness, he starts out talking about our consciousness right at the beginning, right? And I'm going to share just a little bit out of the first chapter and kind of give you an idea of where this book goes and what it delves into. He starts off with Ephesians 5:13. This is how chapter 1 starts. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 5:13, it says, "All things, when they are admitted, are made manifest by the light. For everything that is made manifest is light." And what Neville says is if we take the word light and replace it with the word consciousness, because he's saying that light is a reference to conscience. So now we reread that verse, having made those changes, or substitutions, so to speak. It says, all things when they are admitted are made manifest, made known, right? Made known by the consciousness. For everything that is made manifest or made known is consciousness. So when you read that, you come to realize that, you know what? Everything in our world that we don't see is not really conscious, right? Everything that we see is conscious. We're consciously aware of it. This consciousness that he talks about or references, he later refers to as the I am. Now, we all know what I am is. I am is the name of God. If you go to the book of Exodus and read the story of how Moses stumbled upon the burning bush in the desert, and when God told him to go, get the Israelites and rescue them from Egypt, he asked him, he says, so who shall I tell them? What is your name that you sent me? Who shall I tell them your name is? And he said, I am that I am. Well, this great consciousness exists in everything, according to Neville. Even from the very vehicles that we drive to the houses, everything that we see, according to this verse, everything that is made known, right, is consciousness. And everything that we see is consciousness. He later goes on in the first chapter to end up by saying that not that we are God, but we are God. We are God. We truly are God. And the reason why we are the way we are, because we're all the same spirit, we're all the same consciousness, right? Consciousness exists in everybody. The difference between the rich man and the poor man, the beggar and the thief, is the concepts that they hold about themselves. So you and me, we both have the same I am, or the same consciousness as everyone else and everything else. The difference between you and I is the concepts that we hold in ourselves. This is kind of deep and maybe it's not making a lot of sense, but at the end of the day, the concepts you hold about yourself is what will actually be the world that you live in. Everything comes from within our mind, from that I am consciousness. I do a lot of reading with Wayne Dyer of Wayne Dyer stuff. Wayne Dyer's passed away probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and if you ever listen to him talk about his definition of God, it's kind of interesting because he looks at God as the ocean, right? Pretend that God is the ocean. And you walk up to the ocean with a cup, and you dip out a cup full of that ocean, and you walk back on the beach. Within that cup, you have God, correct? But God is still the infinite. So if you think about that, and you dwell upon that, and you really consider consciousness is God, I am is consciousness, and you are that I am. Now, I don't want to be blasphemous because I am a Christian, and I trust and believe in my Lord and Savior, and I believe in God, but I am saying that what he is saying here, if you look at it in this light and you go back to the beginning of the Bible, when God said that he created us in his own image, it really makes you begin to wonder. Guys, truly, we do have a say in what we are by the concepts we hold in our minds. So I encourage you today, based off of what I've read here in this book, The Power of Awareness, in the first chapter, and he talks about I am. You know, stop and consider how many times you say I am today. You know, one of the first words out of your mouth when you learned how to talk were I am. I'm fat, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. You know, how many times do you hear that said during the day? And you got to be careful, because I am is the name of God, correct? So are you asking God to make me tired? Are you asking God to make me poor? Really think about that. Anyway, The Power of Awareness is the name of the book, written by Neville Goddard. I find it's a great read. I'm about halfway through. He talks about the power of assumption, a power of our imagination, how what you imagine can actually come into fruition. You can actually bring it into existence in your world. A little deep, right? I really get into reading this kind of stuff because, 54 years old, and I think it's about time I learned a little bit about the power of our mind and this body that I live in. So, encouraging words to you today. I hope you have a great day. God bless.